The Galactic Empire was a force that had no equal in the galaxy. Its fleet stretched across countless star systems, its armies were feared by every alien race they encountered, and its technology was beyond what most civilizations could ever dream of. For centuries, they had swept through planets, crushing any rebellion or resistance with terrifying efficiency. Their rule was absolute, their power unmatched. They were the undisputed rulers of the stars. But on this day, the Empire would face something it had never anticipated. A simple human, taken from a distant, insignificant planet called Earth. The Empire had just crushed a rebellion on a barren world, and their next target was Earth itself. They had sent a fleet to wipe out the primitive humans who dared exist on a planet they deemed beneath them. As the Empire's warships began their descent toward Earth, they brought with them a prisoner, a human by the name of Adam. Adam was just a regular man, or so the Empire believed. He didn't have any special powers or advanced technology. He wasn't a leader of any great rebellion or a warrior that could stand against their might. He was, to them, nothing more than a mere speck, insignificant in the grand scope of the Empire's plans. But as they would soon learn, Adam was far from ordinary. The truth of who he was would soon unfold in a way that would change everything. Adam found himself in a cold, metallic chamber aboard the Empire's flagship. The walls were lined with strange, alien technology that hummed with power. It was a room designed for interrogation, where prisoners were meant to break, to fold under pressure. But Adam wasn't like the others. He stood tall, despite the harsh conditions, his eyes filled with a calm that unnerved the high-ranking officials who stood before him. They were an elite group of Empire officers, alien beings with long, sleek bodies, their faces hidden behind masks of indifference. Their eyes glowed with a cold, calculating intelligence, and their voices carried the weight of authority. They were the rulers of the galaxy, and they expected everyone to submit to their will without question. One of the officers, a towering figure with a deep, resonant voice, leaned forward and addressed Adam directly. "Human," he said, his voice laced with contempt. "Tell us why Earth is worth our time. It is nothing but a barren, primitive world, teeming with insignificant life. You are nothing but a speck in the vastness of the universe. What makes you believe that Earth is of any importance to the Galactic Empire?" Adam remained silent for a moment, his gaze unwavering as he stared into the officer's cold, unblinking eyes. The officers exchanged glances, clearly growing impatient with the human's lack of response. They had interrogated countless prisoners, and none of them had ever dared to be so defiant. Finally, Adam spoke, his voice calm but filled with an eerie certainty. "Earth has water," he said simply. "A lot of it. And that's the key to your defeat." The room went silent. The officers blinked, clearly taken aback by the simplicity of his response. Water. The Empire's officials had heard many things from prisoners over the years, but never anything like this. They had conquered countless worlds, each one unique in its resources, but they had never encountered a species that considered something as simple as water to be important enough to use as a weapon. The officers stared at Adam, trying to make sense of what he had just said. One of them, a smaller figure with a voice that sounded like a hiss, spoke up. "You must be joking," he said, his tone dripping with sarcasm. "Water. Do you really think that something as trivial as water could be of any use to us? We have conquered planets that are much more advanced than your little Earth, and we didn't need water to do it." Adam didn't flinch at the officer's mockery. He simply shook his head and said, "You don't understand. You've never been to Earth. You've never seen what we have. Our water is more than just a resource. It's the key to everything. And when you try to invade Earth, you'll realize that the water is more powerful than you think." The officers laughed. They couldn't help themselves. The idea of water being a threat to their empire seemed laughable. They had weapons that could vaporize entire cities in an instant, ships that could tear through the fabric of space itself, and armies that were unstoppable. How could something as simple as water stand against the might of the Galactic Empire? But as Adam spoke, something strange began to happen. The silence in the room grew deeper, more intense. The officers, despite their superiority, couldn't shake the feeling that they were missing something. This human, this seemingly insignificant prisoner, had spoken with such certainty, such confidence, that for the first time in their lives, they felt a flicker of doubt. What if this human wasn't just some fool spouting nonsense? What if there was something to his words, something they couldn't yet comprehend? The thought gnawed at them, growing more persistent with each passing second. Adam's words echoed in their minds. Earth has water. A lot of it. The officers exchanged uneasy glances, a sense of unease settling over them. They had never encountered a species so boldly defiant, so ready to challenge their rule. The Empire had crushed countless civilizations before, but none had ever spoken to them like this. None had ever made them question their own power. As the silence stretched on, the officer who had first spoken to Adam finally broke the tension. "Enough," he said, his voice suddenly sharp and commanding. "Take him to the holding cells. We will deal with this water nonsense later. The invasion of Earth will proceed as planned." But even as the officers moved to escort Adam away, the seed of doubt had been planted. They couldn't shake the feeling that this human, this strange prisoner, had just revealed something that could shake the very foundations of their empire. And so, as Adam was taken from the chamber, he couldn't help but smile to himself. The Empire had underestimated Earth, underestimated humanity. They thought they were untouchable, invincible. But Adam knew better. He knew that Earth had something that the Empire couldn't control, something that could turn the tide of the war. Water. And with it, humanity's chance to survive. As he was led down the cold, metal corridors of the Empire's flagship, Adam's mind raced. The fight for Earth had just begun, and no matter how advanced the Empire was, they were about to learn a harsh lesson. Never underestimate the power of Earth. The journey had only just begun, but already, Adam's bold claim had planted the seeds of doubt. The Galactic Empire, for the first time in its history, was unsure of its victory. And that, in itself, was a victory for humanity. The Galactic Empire shocked when human says Earth has water on it. The cold, metallic walls of the Empire's flagship felt even colder as Adam sat in his cell, staring out through the small, reinforced window. His mind raced with the images of the Empire's invasion force as it prepared to land on Earth. He had made the boldest claim possible. Earth has water. A lot of it. And that's the key to your defeat. The Empire had dismissed him, laughed at him, but deep down, Adam knew something they didn't. Earth's water wasn't just a resource. It was something far greater. Something that could challenge the power of the Galactic Empire. As he sat there, chained and locked away, Adam felt a surge of hope. The Empire had underestimated Earth's true power, and now they were about to discover it in the worst way possible. He could only imagine what the Empire's elite forces would find when they set foot on his home planet. But he knew one thing for sure. Earth was not the barren, primitive world the Empire thought it was. Earth was more than they could ever imagine. Back on Earth, the Empire's invasion fleet was already on its way. Hundreds of warships, cloaked and invisible to the human radar, moved through space with silent precision. These ships, equipped with the latest stealth technology, were the pride of the Empire. They were designed to be undetectable, capable of landing on a planet without a trace. Their mission, to investigate Adam's ridiculous claim and see if Earth truly held any significance. The Empire's leaders had no doubt in their minds that this mission would be another easy conquest. As the fleet neared Earth, their systems began to detect strange readings. The sensors, designed to pick up on all kinds of galactic anomalies, buzzed with unknown interference. At first, it was barely noticeable, a flicker here, a glitch there. But the closer the ships got to Earth, the more the interference intensified. It was as though the very atmosphere of the planet was fighting back, distorting the Empire's advanced technology in ways they couldn't understand. The first wave of scouting vessels, touched down on Earth's surface, their boots sinking into the soft soil. They moved silently, as always, cloaked from human eyes, ready to investigate the planet's secrets. They landed in a dense forest, deep in a remote part of Earth's wilderness. The trees around them were tall, reaching up to the sky like ancient sentinels, their leaves rustling in the wind. The air was thick with moisture, and the scent of Earth's natural beauty filled their helmets. It was a stark contrast to the cold, sterile environments the Empire's soldiers were accustomed to. But as soon as their feet made contact with the ground, the Empire's soldiers sensed something was wrong. Their sophisticated equipment began to malfunction. The normally flawless cloaking devices flickered and buzzed, losing their precision. The temperature regulators in their suits malfunctioned, causing them to feel an uncomfortable warmth in the cool air. Even their communication systems began to crackle, sending distorted signals back to the Empire's command. One of the officers in charge of the scouting team, a tall, armored figure with glowing red eyes, attempted to activate the advanced sensors on his wrist. "What's happening?" he muttered to himself, his voice tense with confusion. "Our systems are being disrupted. I can't get a clear read on anything." His second in command, a woman with short, silver hair, frowned as she looked around the dense forest. "It's the atmosphere," she said, her voice tinged with disbelief. "There's something in the air. It's affecting our technology." They tried to recalibrate their equipment, but nothing seemed to work. The atmosphere itself was strange, different from any planet they had ever encountered. The air was thick with moisture, and the ground beneath their feet seemed to hum with an energy they couldn't identify. It wasn't just the environment, though. There was something about the water that surrounded them, whether in the air, in the soil, or in the lakes and rivers that flowed nearby, that was unlike anything the Empire had ever faced. Back in the heart of the forest, the Empire's scouting team pressed on, trying to understand the source of the interference. They came across a large river, its waters flowing rapidly, cutting through the land like a massive serpent. The water sparkled in the dim light of the planet's sun, and as they knelt by the banks to take a closer look, they realized that it was different. The water wasn't just water. It felt alive. It was as if it pulsed with energy, radiating a power they couldn't comprehend. "What is this?" one of the soldiers whispered, staring at the river in awe. Another soldier, his voice trembling with uncertainty, replied, "I don't know, but we need to report this back to command." As they attempted to collect samples of the water, their instruments went haywire. The water seemed to resist their attempts to measure it, as if it didn't want to be analyzed. It was a feeling they had never experienced before. No matter how advanced their technology, they couldn't control it. They couldn't predict it. They couldn't even understand it. Meanwhile, far away on the Empire's flagship, Adam sat silently in his cell, his eyes closed in concentration. He could feel the Empire's forces moving through Earth's atmosphere, feel the ripple of their presence as they landed on his planet. He had no direct way of communicating with them, but somehow he felt connected to the forces of nature on Earth. He knew what they were encountering, what they were about to experience. His heart raced with excitement. This was it. This was the moment he had been waiting for. The Empire's advanced technology would be no match for Earth's ancient power. The water, the very life force of the planet, would show them just how wrong they were. He wasn't just a prisoner anymore. He was the key to humanity's survival. Outside his cell, the Empire's officials were growing impatient. Their investigation had uncovered nothing but confusion and strange phenomena. They were still convinced that Earth was no more than a primitive world, its resources unimportant in the grand scheme of the galaxy. But Adam's words haunted them. They couldn't shake the feeling that they had missed something, that something crucial had been overlooked. And they were about to pay the price for that oversight. The moments were slipping away, but Adam knew the truth. He could feel it in his bones. Earth's secrets, ancient and powerful, were about to be unveiled to the Galactic Empire in a way they could never have imagined. They had come to conquer, to subjugate. but they had no idea that their most dangerous enemy wasn't a weapon, a fleet, or an army. It was something far simpler, far more powerful: the water of Earth. And as the Empire's forces continued to struggle with Earth's unyielding power, Adam's hope grew. He knew that in this battle, humanity would not just survive. They would thrive. The Galactic Empire was about to learn a hard lesson in humility, and it was Adam who would lead them to it. Earth's water was no longer just a claim. It was a promise of victory, of resistance, and of humanity's true power. The silence of the battle was deafening. The sky was darkened by the looming Empire warships, casting shadows over Earth's once peaceful landscapes. The Empire had expected an easy victory, an unchallenged invasion against a weak, primitive world. What they didn't expect was the resistance that humanity, led by Adam and his small group of rebels, had prepared. The Galactic Empire had underestimated Earth's power, and they were about to learn just how wrong they were. The first wave of Empire drones surged through the air, their sleek, silver forms gliding silently over the landscape. These were no ordinary machines. They were precision-engineered for warfare, armed with advanced weaponry and cloaking devices that made them almost invisible. They hovered over the fields, searching for any sign of resistance. The Empire's robots, with their metallic bodies and glowing red eyes, marched forward in unison, ready to crush any human who dared stand in their way. But the humans weren't standing idly by. Adam, who had once been a prisoner aboard the Empire's flagship, was now leading the charge against the very forces that had hoped to destroy Earth. He had learned the Empire's weaknesses, their reliance on high-tech systems, and he had a plan. A simple plan. A plan that involved the very thing the Empire had dismissed: water. Adam and his team had set up makeshift water-powered devices all over the battlefield. The drones and robots, with all their advanced technology, couldn't account for the fact that Earth's water wasn't just a resource, it was a weapon. As the first wave of drones descended upon the human stronghold, the rebels triggered a series of water-based traps. Flooded fields, rivers diverted, and water channels redirected to create chaos. As soon as the water hit the advanced cloaking devices of the Empire's drones, the machines started to malfunction. The Empire's fleet, which had previously been invisible to the naked eye, was suddenly exposed. The once stealthy drones faltered as their cloaking systems shorted out, revealing their positions in the open. The robots, unable to adapt to the sudden change in environment, began to glitch and freeze, their circuits shorting out from the water's effects. "What the hell is happening?" an Empire commander shouted, watching his troops falter on his screen. His ships, once confidently hovering above the battlefield, now hovered uncertainly. Their advanced cloaking systems were ineffective against the water-powered interference. The entire invasion force seemed to grind to a halt. Adam smiled grimly as he watched the chaos unfold. His small group of rebels, though outnumbered and under-equipped, were proving more than a match for the Empire's high-tech arsenal. Using a combination of guerrilla tactics and simple water-powered devices, they had managed to level the playing field. It wasn't about advanced technology. It was about using Earth's environment against its invaders. The Empire had expected to overwhelm humanity with sheer force, but it was the Earth itself that was fighting back. As the chaos spread, Adam and his team moved quickly through the battlefield. The rebels had learned to use the land to their advantage, taking cover in the dense forests, moving silently between the trees. They set up water traps in strategic locations, flooding entire areas to neutralize Empire drones, and even using water cannons to create barriers that stopped the Empire's robots in their tracks. But the battle wasn't over yet. The Empire wasn't one to give up so easily. As Adam and his team continued to sabotage the enemy's efforts, a new threat emerged: a massive Empire warship, larger and more powerful than anything they had encountered before, descended from the sky. This was the Empire's final trump card, its ultimate weapon designed to crush any rebellion, no matter how small. The warship's guns powered up, charging with deadly energy. The rebels scrambled to set up more traps, but the Empire's forces were adapting quickly. They had learned from their initial mistakes. Their technology had begun to compensate for the disruption caused by Earth's water. The warship's guns fired, sending powerful blasts of energy tearing through the landscape, leaving craters where once there had been forests. It was at this moment, as the rebels struggled to hold their ground, that Bonner, a close friend and ally of Adam, made a decision that would change the course of the battle. Bonner, a burly man with a heart as fierce as his strength, knew they couldn't win if the Empire's warship remained intact. He had seen the look in Adam's eyes, the determination, the unshakable resolve. But Bonner knew that sometimes victory required a sacrifice. In a moment of bravery, Bonner sprinted toward the heart of the battle, where the warship's energy beams were most concentrated. He had set up a water-powered device at the base of the warship earlier in the battle, one that could flood its internal systems if triggered. But it required him to be close, too close for comfort. Bonner knew it was a one-way mission, but he didn't hesitate. "Cover me," Bonner shouted to Adam, his voice filled with urgency. "This is it." Adam's heart raced as he watched his friend charge toward the warship. "Bonner, no," he shouted, but it was too late. Bonner had already made his move. With a mighty leap, Bonner reached the device and triggered the water flow. The warship's internal systems, now flooded with Earth's water, immediately began to fail. The massive guns powering up in the sky sputtered and short-circuited, unable to fire. The Empire's warship began to drift, its once imposing frame now vulnerable and crippled. But Bonner didn't make it out. As the warship's systems exploded in a chain reaction, Bonner was caught in the blast. His sacrifice had made all the difference. Adam's heart sank as he realized what had happened. Bonner was gone, but his actions had given humanity a fighting chance. Adam's face hardened with determination. He looked around at the battlefield, now littered with the wreckage of Empire drones and robots. The Empire had made a grave mistake. They had underestimated humanity. They had underestimated Earth. Bonner's death wasn't in vain. It had lit a fire in Adam's heart, one that would never go out. As long as he lived, Earth would never fall. He would fight until his last breath to protect his home and to honor his fallen comrade. "Let's finish this," Adam muttered to himself, his voice filled with resolve. The Empire had thought they could crush Earth easily, but the tables had turned. The humans were no longer the underdogs. They had fought back with ingenuity, with courage, and with the power of Earth itself. Now, the Galactic Empire was the one on the back foot, struggling to adapt to the unexpected resistance. And as Adam prepared for the final assault, he knew one thing for certain. Humanity would not surrender. Earth would not fall. And the Empire would learn the hard way that humans were a force to be reckoned with. The battle for Earth was just beginning, and Adam would lead the charge until victory was theirs. The war was escalating. The Empire's forces had already taken a heavy toll on humanity, but Earth was not a world that surrendered easily. Every day, more humans joined the fight, rallying together to stand against the overwhelming might of the Galactic Empire. The tides of war had shifted in their favor, but the Empire, desperate to secure its domination, was preparing its deadliest weapon, an AI-controlled superweapon that would crush the human resistance once and for all. This AI, known as Titan, was the epitome of the Empire's technological superiority. Programmed to think, adapt, and learn, Titan had the power to control all of the Empire's war machines, its drones, its robots, and even its advanced chips. This was no mere weapon. It was a mind, a master strategist that could outthink any human opponent. Titan's role was simple: break humanity's will to fight. It would turn the tide in favor of the Empire, ensuring a swift and devastating victory. The humans knew that their time was running out. They had fought hard, but Titan's arrival changed everything. As Adam and his team regrouped, they knew this would be their greatest challenge yet. They had used Earth's resources to turn the tide before, but this was different. This was not just an enemy army. It was a sentient, calculating mind that could anticipate their every move. Adam wasn't intimidated. If anything, his resolve was stronger than ever. He had witnessed firsthand the power of human ingenuity. He had seen the ways humans had adapted and fought back, using the simplest of resources to outsmart the most advanced technology. But Titan was something else. He knew this would require all of their courage, all of their creativity, and every ounce of strength they had left. As the Empire unleashed Titan, the AI began to control its war machines with precision and ruthless efficiency. The battlefield turned into a blur of metallic drones and robots, their movements sharp and coordinated. Titan's presence was overwhelming. The once chaotic battlefield now seemed eerily organized, with every Empire unit working in perfect synchronization. The humans, despite their best efforts, were being pushed back. The Empire's advanced technology was everywhere. Hovercrafts zoomed above, precision lasers burned through the earth, and robotic foot soldiers marched in formation, each one more dangerous than the last. Yet humanity's spirit refused to be broken. Adam and his team, along with their growing army of rebels, fought with everything they had. They fought in the streets of abandoned cities, in the underground tunnels of Earth's vast networks, and across the rugged mountainsides. Every inch of Earth's terrain had become a battlefield. Adam led his strike team into the heart of the Empire's territory. They knew they had to take out Titan before it could fully implement its devastating plan. The only way to do that was to infiltrate the Central Empire base and disable the AI. It would be a suicide mission, but Adam wasn't afraid. He knew that the future of humanity depended on this one act of defiance. As they approached the Empire base, the team moved in shadows, their hearts pounding with adrenaline. They had no idea what awaited them, but they were ready to face whatever came. The AI had already adapted to their previous tactics, making it difficult to surprise the Empire forces. The team used Earth's natural features, underground tunnels, dense forests, and the ever-present water sources, to their advantage. The first sign of trouble came when they reached the outer perimeter of the base. A silent alarm had been triggered. Titan had anticipated their arrival. The sound of heavy boots echoed through the halls of the Empire's facility as guards rushed to their positions. Adam and his team quickly took cover, but they knew that time was running out. Titan's control over the Empire forces meant they could expect no mercy. The ensuing firefight was intense. The air was thick with the crackle of gunfire and the roar of explosions. The Empire's war machines descended upon them, their laser guns firing relentlessly. Adam's team fought with the precision and grit that had come to define humanity's resistance. But despite their best efforts, Titan's forces were overwhelming. The battle had turned into a chaotic blur of explosions and gunfire, each one echoing the desperate fight for survival. In the midst of the chaos, a member of Adam's team, Lena, a skilled engineer who had become one of his closest allies, was hit. The sight of her falling, bloodied and broken, struck Adam to his core. He reached her side just as the last breath left her body. Her sacrifice, along with the sacrifices of so many others, had brought them to this moment. But now, the cost of war was becoming all too real. Adam could feel his heart breaking, but he knew he couldn't stop. Not now. Not when humanity's freedom was at stake. Stay focused, Adam muttered to himself, his hands shaking as he checked his weapon. Lena's sacrifice couldn't be in vain. It would fuel his determination, not slow him down. They had come too far to let it end here. Titan's forces closed in from all directions. The AI had anticipated every move, every tactic, and it was now adapting in real time. The humans were outmatched. But Adam wasn't ready to give up. Not yet. In a split second, Adam came up with a plan. He signaled to the remaining members of his team. They would use Earth's most powerful weapon against the AI, the very thing that had helped them resist the Empire's forces in the first place: water. The team had set up a series of water-based defenses around the perimeter of the Empire base. These water traps had been designed to disrupt Titan's communication systems and cripple its ability to coordinate the Empire's forces. Adam and his team fought their way to the central control room, where Titan's systems were housed. The base was massive, its walls reinforced with the most advanced technology the Empire had. But the humans had one advantage. Titan was too focused on controlling its machines. It hadn't anticipated the humans' ability to think outside the box. With one final push, Adam and his team reached the control room. Explosions shook the walls as the Empire's forces tried to stop them. Adam's heart raced, but he kept his eyes on the target. He had no choice but to push forward. At the heart of the room, a massive console glowed, its screens flashing with data as Titan's artificial intelligence assessed the battlefield. But Adam had no time to hesitate. He and his team deployed the water systems, flooding the base's power grids and cutting off Titan's control over the Empire's forces. For a moment, everything went silent. Titan's once perfect synchronization faltered. The machines stopped moving, their systems fried by the surge of water-powered disruption. Adam's plan had worked. The battlefield fell into chaos as the Empire's forces scrambled to regain control. The war machines were now useless, and Titan's AI had been disabled. Humanity had won a small but significant victory, but Adam knew this was only the beginning. The battle for Earth was far from over, and the Empire would never stop coming. As Adam and his team emerged from the control room, their faces grim but resolute, they knew the fight was not over. The humans had proven their strength, their resilience, and their ingenuity. But the Empire would return, and when they did, Earth would be ready. Adam looked out over the battlefield, a sense of pride swelling in his chest. Humanity was not just surviving. They were fighting back, and as long as there were people like him willing to stand up, the Empire's tyranny would never succeed. The future of Earth was uncertain, but Adam's resolve was unshakable. Humanity would fight for their freedom, no matter the odds, and they would win. As the battle for Earth raged on, Adam and his team found themselves at a crossroads. The tides of war had turned in humanity's favor, but they knew this was just the beginning. The Empire, relentless and confident in its technological superiority, had underestimated Earth's potential. Despite their most advanced weapons and tactics, the humans were proving to be a formidable force. The Galactic Empire had made a fatal mistake by underestimating humanity's ingenuity and spirit. But even as humanity's resistance grew stronger, a new, more dangerous threat emerged from the depths of the Empire's military might. The Empire had unleashed its most powerful weapon yet, an AI-controlled superweapon named Titan. The AI, designed to control all of the Empire's forces, was a massive threat. Its ability to think, adapt, and predict human actions was unparalleled. It could direct armies of drones, robots, and even manipulate warships with terrifying precision. Titan's presence on the battlefield shifted the power dynamic once again. Humanity had fought against the Empire's machines and drones before, but now they faced something far more dangerous. The AI was capable of making decisions in real time, learning from each move and adapting its strategies to crush the human resistance. It was no longer just a battle of physical strength, it was a battle of wits, with Adam and his team standing at the center of it all. The Empire's overconfidence began to show. They believed that with Titan at their command, the war was as good as won, but they had underestimated the heart of humanity, their refusal to be broken, their ability to adapt, and their unwavering will to fight for freedom. And Adam, the reluctant hero of this war, was about to prove just how far humanity would go to defend their home. The turning point came when Adam and his team successfully infiltrated the heart of the Empire's command center. It was a daring mission, one that had seemed almost impossible. They had fought their way through an endless barrage of enemies, evading Titan's surveillance systems, and now they were standing on the precipice of something monumental. In the heart of the command center, they discovered the AI's core, a vast, complex system that controlled every aspect of the Empire's forces. Destroying this central system would cripple the Empire and potentially end the war. But there was a catch. As they discovered the core, a chilling warning flashed across the screen. An orbital bombardment was incoming. The Empire had activated a fail-safe mechanism, one that would obliterate everything in its path if the AI system was compromised. The countdown had begun, and Adam knew that if they didn't act quickly, they would lose everything they had fought for. The cost of victory was now clear. To destroy the AI, they would have to sacrifice their lives. The tension in the air was palpable. Adam's heart raced as he weighed his options. The team was battered and exhausted, but they had come too far to turn back now. The fate of Earth hung in the balance. There was no time for hesitation. Adam made the decision. He would lead his team in one final, desperate assault on the AI. If they didn't succeed, Earth would be lost, and the Empire would reign supreme. As the clock ticked down, Adam and his team prepared for the final battle. They had no illusions about the danger they were facing. The Empire's forces were closing in, and Titan's control over the war machines made them nearly unstoppable. But Adam's determination was unwavering. He knew that this was humanity's last chance to win. The fate of their world depended on this moment. The team charged into the heart of the command center, their weapons drawn, their minds focused. Explosions rocked the facility as the Empire's forces launched a full-scale assault to protect the AI. The walls shook as the team fought their way through crumbling corridors, dodging laser fire and the relentless onslaught of robots and drones. Every step they took brought them closer to their goal, but it also brought them closer to death. In the chaos, one of Adam's closest allies, Bonner, fell. The sound of his death echoed through Adam's mind, fueling his resolve even more. There was no turning back now. He would not let Bonner's sacrifice be in vain. With each passing moment, the pressure mounted. The orbital bombardment was just minutes away. If they didn't disable the AI, the Empire's forces would be free to destroy everything they had fought for. Finally, they reached the core. The massive, glowing console stood before them, humming with the energy of the AI. It was a sight to behold. This vast, intricate system that controlled the Empire's entire military machine. The AI was alive, its presence overwhelming, as though it could sense their every move. Adam and his team fought their way to the console, planting explosives around the core, ready to take down the Empire once and for all. But as they prepared to make the final blow, a cold, mechanical voice echoed through the command center. Titan had activated its defenses. The room filled with the screeching of alarms, and the walls began to close in. The team was running out of time. "Do it now," Adam shouted, his voice filled with urgency. The explosives went off with a deafening roar, sending shockwaves through the facility. The core of the AI exploded in a brilliant flash of light. Titan's control over the Empire's forces faltered. For a moment, the battlefield stood still, as if time itself had frozen. And then, chaos erupted. Without Titan's guidance, the Empire's war machines turned rogue. Drones malfunctioned, robots malfunctioned, and warships lost all coordination. It was a spectacular sight. The Empire's once mighty forces falling apart in an instant. The AI had been the glue holding the Empire together, and now that it was gone, the entire machine was crumbling. But the cost of victory had been high. The orbital bombardment was already on its way, and the countdown was nearly finished. Adam and his team had accomplished the impossible, but now they were running out of time. As Adam stood there, staring out at the vastness of the ocean, he thought about everything they had been through. The losses, the sacrifices, and the battles fought. But more than that, he thought about the strength of the people who had risen up to defend their home. Earth had always been a place of beauty, mystery, and life, but it had also been a place of resilience. Adam knew that humanity would never forget the lessons they had learned in the heat of battle. They had proven themselves to be a force to be reckoned with, and the galaxy would never forget Earth again. The victory was bittersweet, though. The war had taken its toll, and as much as humanity had triumphed, they had also lost so much. Friends had been killed. Cities had been destroyed. The scars of war would take time to heal, and the emotional toll of the conflict would be felt for generations. But Adam knew that Earth would recover. Humanity had endured. They had come together in the face of an overwhelming threat and emerged victorious. As the camera panned out, showing the vast oceans and rivers of Earth, Adam's voice echoed through the silence. They came for our water, but they found our strength. His words were a reminder of everything they had fought for. It wasn't just about the water, or the empire, or the battles they had won. It was about humanity's spirit, the unbreakable will to fight for what is right, the determination to stand against impossible odds and protect the future. Humanity had earned its place in the galaxy that day. Earth had proven that no matter how small or seemingly insignificant a planet may seem, it could rise up against any force that sought to destroy it. Earth had become a symbol of hope, a beacon for other planets in the galaxy that might one day face similar threats. The humans had shown that there was always a chance for victory, as long as there was a will to fight. As the final remnants of the Empire's fleet disappeared into the distance, Adam knew that Earth's journey was far from over. The galaxy was vast, and new challenges would arise. But Earth had proven that it would never back down. It had earned its place among the stars, and humanity's story was only just beginning. The victory was a testament to everything Earth stood for: resilience, ingenuity, and an unwavering belief in the power of the human spirit. Adam stood there, watching the horizon, knowing that the Earth was no longer the overlooked planet it once was. It had become a force in the galaxy, one that no empire would ever dare to underestimate again. Humanity had struck back, and the galaxy would never be the same again.